West Catholic Athletic League basketball on KMVT tonight from the Martin D. Murphy Gymnasium Center on the campus of St. Ignatius College Preparatory in San Francisco. Alongside of John Reed, I'm George Devine. And John, we look at a critical game in the WCAL standings as the Wildcats and the Lancers, each 2-2 in the league. The Lancers 13-4 overall, the Wildcats 11-5 overall, but 2-2, a key swing game as we look at the WCAL standings.
Yeah, Sacred Heart sitting on top nicely in the WCAL. Bellarmine right there, of course. The Wildcats able to knock off the Bells, and then in OT, and St. Francis dropped a tough one down there in overtime. So very competitive league this year in WCAL. Extremely competitive indeed. We look at some of the fans here getting ready for one of what they expect to be a WCAL Classic. This building opened last year. The Wildcats only lost once in 6 WCAL tries here. That one lost to the St. Francis Lancers. So we'll return in a moment with the starting lineups. You're watching WCAL basketball on KMVT. Welcome back to 2001 37th Avenue in San Francisco. We get ready for a WCAL basketball odyssey. Let's set tonight's starting lineups for you. First for St. Francis, they go with the usual duo of Charles Tharp and J.D. Simpson in the backcourt. J.D. coming in with a league average of 16.5 a game. The front line for the Lancers features Jim Weinbeek in the pivot position, with Sinkyu Carey, the power forward, and Jed Brush playing the small forward. Brush at 6'4", coming in with a league average of 11.2 a game. His season average is 12.4. We look at the Wildcats and their pile up out there after their starting lineup was introduced. Cassidy Raher gets the starting call at point guard. He had 8 the other night in the win over Reardon. He's joined in the backcourt by Alejandro Thomas, a third-year varsity player as a junior, 6'1", and a good friend of Sinkyu Carey, we might mention. Josh Hunt, Jason LeBar, the forwards, a 6'3" and a 6'1" junior. And then the 6'3" senior John Antonini goes in the middle. John was the WCAL Defensive Lineman of the Year this past football season. Well, that's going to be the key for the Lancers tonight. They're going big now with Jim Weinbeek, 6'3", and of course Jed Brush, 6'3½", and that's going to be the key for the Lancers. They're going to have to rebound very well against the bangers from SI, and Sinkyu Carey will also have to help on the boards. Lancers are also going to have to shoot very well from the field if they're going to win tonight. So Bill Black, our referee, gets set to toss it up. He's joined by umpire Stan Spicer. And there's the Wildcat mascot, one of the better sixth man units in the Bay Area, behind the basket cheering on their Wildcats. First time we see the Lancers in their road browns this year on KMVT. SI and their home whites. So Weinbeek tips it to Carey to control it. And we're underway in San Francisco. Wildcats in the man-to-man open up, George. Carey against Thomas. They work to the corner. Tharp, now Simpson top of the key. They're trying to look inside for Carey. Team's been playing him well lately. Sinkyu in a bit of a scoring slump. Now on for three-point try, no good. Rebound is cleared by Josh Hunt. Raher ahead to LeBar. LeBar on the baseline. The Wildcats will put it up a lot. Antonini with the return. And Thomas with the first 2 of the night. Wildcats very aggressive on the boards. Could have been an over-the-top call, but the Lancers going to have to be tough in there. So Tharp over to Brush. Jed steps up, looked shot, then looked pass. Now Simpson with it. He'll drive the lane against 3 defenders, finds Tharp open in the corner. And Charles gives the Lancers a 1-point lead. They're going to need perimeter shooting for the Lancers. Somebody's going to have to take charge offensively for the Lancers. Looks like nobody wants to shoot right now. So 3-2, the Lancers up by a single point. We're just underway, 6:43 to go. First period. Glad to have you with us on KMVT. Hunt from the free throw line. Wildcats in a slower pace than I saw them in Tuesday against Reardon. Don Lippy, the coach, as we look at Steve Filios right there in front of the Lancer bench. Steve getting his 85th prep coaching win last night in the win over Mini, but his counterpart, Don Lippy, likes to run the court, put the ball up at least 60 times a night. And
Lancer foul will go against Jim Weinbeek, so a critical foul to the Lancer front line sends Josh Hunt to the line for 2 tries. As we look at Don Lippy, who previously coached at Skyline High, his 5th year here at St. Ignatius, also coaching stints at St. Patrick's of Vallejo and St. Joseph's of Alameda.
Lance's man that inbound, and Hunt able to get free in the shuffle, and he got away with a walk there. The Lancer bench was complaining, but no call by the officials.
So Hunt hits them both, and it's 4-3. The Wildcats take the lead. Second lead change of the night. Wildcats denying the inside of the Lancers. Now Weinbeek is going to take LeBon to the hole and get his first 2.
80 points from Weinbeek's a big bonus. He doesn't like to score that much.
Weinbeek 3 points even a game in the league play, 2.4 on the year. As John mentioned in the opening, he's there for rebounding help. Now Raher to the hole, and Cassidy has his first 2 of the night. He had 7 last night in the win here over Bellarmine. Simpson from the baseline. And Hunt in front of Weinbeek for the board. Now Hunt at the other end. He has 4 of the Wildcat 8 points.
Lancers cannot allow that, George. Can't allow any cheap baskets.
Now Carey puts up from 3 again, and he's 0 of 2 from that range.
Yeah, he's bricked too.
And Alejandro Thomas with his second hoop of the night. And that summons a timeout from Steve Filios. So after playing a very deliberate, slow game, the Wildcats have sped it up, much to the disliking of Steve Filios and the Lancers.
He had to call timeout there. Lancers not getting back. Carey looks really tired. He's bricked 2 shots. The thing about Carey, noticing his shots, he rushes his shots. He rushes his shots. He's got to take his time and get set, and their shots will be there. He's a little impatient right now. Lancers got to get back on defense. They've allowed 2 transition buckets, and that's why Philly has called time.
The St. Francis cheerleaders made the trip along with us up here to San Francisco tonight. You look into the Wildcat huddle right there. You see the fellow standing there in the brown shirt. That's Boris Gorbachevsky. He's in his 2nd year as a volunteer assistant at SI. He spent 10 years in the Soviet Junior National Program, developing some of their talent back when they still had a Soviet Union. One of the players who was in the program at that time was Sharunas Marshallonis.
Well, I was going to say, he sounded like a grandmaster chess player. But more importantly, the Lancers are going to have to get organized and just kind of settle down a little bit. Wildcats with good man pressure. Senkyu Carey is just going to set now, extended full court pressure, about 3/4 court pressure. Wildcats are going to pick up.
That full court or 3/4 court, one of the trademarks of Don Lippy.
2-2-1 zone press.
And Brush breaks it. Jed with his first 2 of the night, and it's 10-7. Raher will rotate with James Chong at the point, and Raher on the give and go goes to the hole. Can't get the roll, Weinbeek the board. And Senkyu Carey will run things for the Lancers.
Well, that ball is really old and abused. That game ball, not very new, is it, George?
I think it's seen a few battles. Might date back to the Cowell Pavilion days here at St. Ignatius. 4:33 to go. Brush to the hole. Jed can't get the roll, and John Antonini clears the board.
Brush might have been fouled on that too. No call. Lancers haven't got a call yet this game.
1 foul has been called against the Wildcats. And LeBaugh gets hit on the way to the hoop.
Weinbeek's going to have to move his legs, George, and get in position.
Weinbeek picks up his 2nd. And James Chong comes on to spell Cassidy Raher. Alvin Lynn remains waiting at the table. He'll be the substitute for LeBaugh if LeBaugh makes his 2nd shot. Don Lippy does like to mix it up and use a lot of different players in his attack. We get our first look at Pat Yeager tonight coming on for the Lancers, as Steve Filios will go a little bit smaller, move Brush to a pivot, and have Yeager come on and play the 3 spot. Lynn won't come in, but Hunt gets the board, gets the top of the key to the Thomas. Thomas fires, draws the back of the rim, and Yeager just on the floor gets the rebound. 4 minutes exactly to go in the opening period. Tharp up to Brush, top of the key, now underneath for Sinkyu. Sinkyu guarded by Hunt. He loses the handle, but Brush recovers. Brush again, and he nails it for the Lancers.
Nice job by Jed Brush. Good second effort.
Jed Brush 2 of 4 from the floor tonight, 4 points. 11-9, the Wildcats in control. 3:35 to go opening period. Antonini gets Brush to leave his feet, now hits Chong on the outside. And 3 in the lane called against Antonini.
More like about 5. Carey might have got away with a 3-second down the other. Hits, watch this, George. Looks like, let's see if they set up the 2-2-1 zone press again. They're extending it out full. Lippy really mixing up his defenses.
Both of these coaches will change defenses on each time down the floor. Both pride themselves in doing that. Simpson in the corner to Brush. Now back to JD. Sinkyu rotates high, finds an open Brush inside, and Brush in traffic picks up his 6th point of the night.
That was nice rotation. Good execution by the Lancers that time. High-low with Carey and Brush.
Nothing but ones on the board. 11-11 is the score. Thomas, top of the key. Now to Hunt. They're the big scorers. They've each had 30-point nights this year for the Wildcats. Now Chong out of St. Thomas Apostle in his 2nd year, over to Lin in the corner. Lin draws the iron. Carey gets the rebound. Ahead to Jed Brush on the break. Chong looks for this charge, doesn't get it. Brush for the rebound in a fight with Antonini, and Antonini wins it. And now we're going up and down and back and forth. And a foul against the Lancers. J.D. Simpson picks up his first. But that pace, John, is not necessarily to the liking of Steve Filios.
No, they don't. They had a 2-on-1 there, and Brush, I don't know. That was the referees are really letting them play, and both teams are going to have to adjust to what the officials are letting them do. They're not getting the flop, and there's a lot of contact being let go. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams adjust.
So Thomas hits his first charity striped attempt of the night. Had 17 last night in the win over the Bells. Had 10 points and 6 assists Tuesday against Reardon. Makes them both. He has 6th. Rob Marcoletti and Chris Fife now onto the floor. Fife standing at the free throw line in the middle of your screen in the Wildcat zone. Now Marcoletti stepping out on Carey. Carey going to the hole. Was he in the act? Let's see what Stan Spicer says.
I think it's before the shot. It's going to be on 44 Marcoletti.
Was indeed before the shot, so the Lancers inbound in front of the SI rooting section. JD on the inbounds is rejected by Fife. Now finds Brush. Brush straddles the line and steps on the blue. So Wildcat ball. The Wildcats look to extend their lead. They're up by 2, 13-11. 2 minutes, 4 seconds. That was the 4th rebound by the Wildcats. 4th team rebound, that is. Lin from the corner, back of the iron. Thomas can't tip it in. And here comes Tharp. Charles floats to the basket. Can't do the job. We have a jump ball that will go to the Wildcats.
Thank you, Carey, with a nice steal. Got the jump ball out of it, but possession arrow to the Wildcats.
Hunt and Labaugh return along with Raher for the Wildcats. Corey Blick in for the first time tonight for Tharp. So Don Lippy keeping the revolving door in front of the scorer's table moving. Labaugh from the corner. Back of the iron. They've missed a lot of those tonight.
Yeah, if the Wildcats ever start hitting that shot, Lancers are in deep trouble.
Rush. Sinkyu, NBA range, can't clear it. Raher steps in front for the rebound. Now Cassidy sets the break against 4 Lancers. And he throws that one away. Josh Hunt didn't know it was coming his way. Now Antonini back for Fife with 1:11 to go. And Adam Harris gets his first playing time of the night, it's Alejandro Thomas.
Boy, Senkyu Carey is going to have to look to go to the hoop because he has really bricked 3 shots from three-point land. He's got to settle down a little bit, try to take it inside and get on track that way.
Wildcats with Thomas on the bench as we come to the 1 minute to play mark. And Carey losing that one to the invisible man.
This is not a time capsule quarter for Senkyu Carey, who's one of the finer sophomore guards in the state, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you, he's an outstanding player, fine defensive player, and excellent skills on the offensive end, but tonight he's just having one of those nights. Still early yet, though.
Sinkyu in a bit of a scoring slump as late, but he did a good job rebounding the other night against the Bells. Antonini. Wildcats could be looking for last shot. Remember, Alejandro Thomas on the bench for a breather. Antonini is not a threat to put it up from that range, but Josh Hunt could be. And they'll reset with 32 to play. LaBaugh with it. Clock down at 25. Remember, there's no hot shot clock in the boys' game. The last bastion of shot clockless basketball. And now Senkyu Carey is called for the grab.
He didn't like that call at all. He got a lot of ball there. Almost. Lancers just took him out of that delay game by double teaming the perimeter. I'm not impressed with the way the Wildcats run their half-court offense. They have been a little bit unsettled. They're a good transition team up and down, and they get a lot of offensive rebounders, but the half-court set, not so good.
Thomas back for Harris. Wildcats with the ball, 15 seconds left. Thomas over on the right wing, looking for somebody to open up, finds Hunt. 10 seconds, Hunt to the baseline in front of Carey. Can't get the roll. Carey gets the board. 5 seconds left. Yeager across half court, clock down to 2. Yeager's going to put it up himself, and it's going to fly off the board. So 13-11 is our number for the first period. We'll take a break. You're watching the WCAL on KMVT. Welcome back to St. Ignatius along with John Reed, our producer Lazarus Sargini. This is George Devine. We see the Lancer cheerleaders, and they're watching a good one with the rest of us. It's 13-11, the Wildcats on top and at home.
I think Steve Filius is pretty happy being down by 2. Carey has yet to score. He's looked terrible. He's on the bench now, just taking a rest, getting mentally ready for a little bit later, and I think the Lancers are all right.
The Wildcats on defense with their original starters. The Lancers with Carey on the bench have Blick and Yeager on the floor as well. Remember, Jed Brush is also on the bench for St. Francis. So Steve Filios electing to rest 2 of his starters.
Little matchup zone for the Wildcats. Lancers, a little bit of confusion right now.
Weinbeek misses the flash pass. LaBaugh sets the break ahead to Thomas. And he shakes and bakes the hole, can't do it. LaBaugh for the offensive board. Gets hit by Weinbeek, and if that's going to be on Weinbeek, it's his 3rd.
Well, that's too bad because he blocked that shot. He got a jump ball, and official call. They're going to call that a lot in the high school level. But 3 on Weinbeek, that doesn't help the Lancers' cause.
Foul is on Blick, his first, the 15th foul on the Lancers. LaBaugh is on the line, shooting 2. Misses the front end. Right now, 1 of 3 from the line. And he makes the second. Jason with 2. He had a brother named Justin. Played here a couple years ago. 14-11 the score.
Matchup, go ahead, but matchup 2-3 zone and see how the Lancers adjust to it. They didn't handle it last time down.
This is where Weinbeek got burned. Now Charles Tharp gets burned. Now Cassidy Raher gets burned as Yeager picks up the loose ball. Now he gets burned and Raher picks it up again. So a lot of swapping of turnovers right there. Net result, Wildcat ball. Hunt to the hole between 2 defenders, and he gets the roll. So Josh Hunt with 6 to lead everyone.
2 turnovers against this matchup 2-3 zone. Lancers going to get settled.
So 6:40 to go until intermission. Senkyu Carey waiting his turn at the scorer's table. The Lancers right now taking their time with the ball as well. Blick draws iron. Weinbeek sees it go off the top of his head. Thomas alertly controls. Now looks to go baseline, denied by Simpson. Now they go to Hunt against Weinbeek with 2 fouls. Thomas lucky he held on to that. 6:08 to play. And Raher resets from center court. And they're going to call the player control on LeBas, who just plowed right into Simpson.
Outstanding job by Simpson to establish position. Now here comes Senkyu Carey. Hopefully he'll bust up the zone. Hopefully you're going to have to warm it up a little bit, but he's better, more effective against his zone defense. And then comes Jed Brush.
Jed Brush also back. Senkyu, the leading scorer for the Lancers, 17.7 tonight. We look at the Lancer mates on the bench right there, and now back to action. Charles looking for something to open up inside, finds Q top of the key. St. Francis trying to force the Wildcats into a down-tempo game. That's probably the most effective way to throw a monkey wrench into Don Lippy's plans. Brush inside, if he holds on to it, he doesn't. And now Thomas sets the break for SI. He goes to the hole in front of Simpson. No foul is called, but Hunt gets the putback.
I think Filios needs another timeout. There it is.
So 18-11, and Steve Filios takes the advice of John Reed. Burns his second timeout with 5:22 to go in the half.
Yeah, he really balled out Jed Brush for not getting back defensively. What the heck you doing? Come back and follow the play. Going down the other end, but Lancers just they need a spark. I'll tell you, they're not moving the basketball offensively. They're taking their time. You got to move the ball. You got to move the defense. When you're playing against a matchup zone, you can't hold on to it and let the defense get set.
Well, we look at the crowd here at St. Ignatius. I mentioned in the opening, the Wildcats, the only WCAL team they lost to here last year was St. Francis. Senkyu Carey did not have a good first half in that game. He had 17 in that game. I believe he had 15 of those in the second half. And he hit the shot that sent the game to overtime. That was the second of what would become 22 wins and the longest winning streak in St. Francis history.
Just noticing the clock. Yeah, that's interesting. I was just sorry, George, but I was noticing the clock during the timeouts. They clock it down, then they put it back to the original time. That's usually I've never seen that before on any kind of clock. That's why it kind of distracted me, but. Pretty good crowd tonight, George. You were talking about how it's a 3-day weekend and it's kind of a ski weekend, and then it's almost full.
I don't know how anyone could go to a snowy mountain when you could watch basketball in a nice warm gym like this one.
Now the Wildcats back in a man-to-man. Little trap outside.
And Senkyu stripped by Hunt. He's ahead to Raher. Raher's got it on the wrong hand as he goes to the hole. It doesn't matter as he throws it in for his fourth point of the night.
Raher, nice job. Looked away Brush and went to the hole. Boy, this confusing defense are really bothering the Lancers.
Biggest lead of the night for the Wildcats. 9, they lead 22-11. Lick from the corner, makes it a 6-point game.
He can shoot it. They're going to need that perimeter shooting, the Lancers, to open up that defense.
Antonini way out of his range. Rebound Tharp.
Yeah, Lancers will give him that shot.
Now Simpson goes to work on Antonini and Thomas. Finds Blick from NBA range. Corey back of the iron, but JD the rebound. The Lancers trying to force their tempo. Now Senkyu from the corner. And again, Senkyu draws iron. And Yeager going to the deck. And the feudal cause for the rebound is Dan O'Neill will come on for Jed Brush, and Chris Fife back for Antonini, along with James Chung for Raher for St. Ignatius.
This is about as far as Filios wants to go in the second half. They're down by 6 now. They don't want to be worse than this going into halftime. Senkyu Carey 0 for 4 from the perimeter.
Lancers yet to shoot a free throw tonight as well, so they haven't gotten any whistles inside, but then again, they haven't gotten any good shooting looks either. The Wildcats will retain it. Beyond those doors you see over there is the old Cowell Pavilion here at St. Ignatius. It still stands. They still use it for freshman games, so they have 2 fully functional large tournament pavilions on the campus. This one holding 2,700 spectators when packed to the gills. Fife puts it up, can't get the roll. Chong's rebound tip to Lin, and now Fife's going to be called for holding on to Dan O'Neill. So third team foul on the Wildcats. And Hunt back, or I should say Harris back for St. Ignatius. Mark Coletti will also come on. I don't know if it's me, John, but Don Lippy using that revolving door a lot less than he usually does here tonight.
He's played about 9 deep tonight, giving some people some rest.
One of the criticisms of Don when he first came here was he switched players on the fly way too often, almost like hockey, as the Lancers go inside to Simpson. JD recovers, 3:24 to go in the half. But the criticism was he never let a group out there long enough to get a good rhythm. Sinkyu to the hole, and no basket the call. He stepped on the end line.
That's the only thing that could have been called. Carey didn't like it. Not going Carey's way tonight. What a nightmare first half for Sinkyu Carey.
Thomas on for Harris after a quick rest. The Wildcats looking to extend their lead. It's been 2014 for a bit now. Mark Coletti with it, top of the key. Now Thomas trying to go to work on Simpson. He's one of the better ball handlers around. Now Harris gets called for the travel.
They didn't call the initial travel. The Lancer bench got up, and then he traveled again. So both teams played last night, George. That's why at least Mr. Lippy's gone to his bench a lot. And maybe Carey's a little bit draggy from last night's performance.
Both of these clubs playing 3 times in the WCAL middle week of the round robin, the 3-game week, as Brush returns for O'Neill. The Wildcats had the benefit of playing at home last night. As we mentioned, they beat Bellarmine here in overtime. St. Francis with a short trip over to Mitty. That can be rough if you're playing back-to-back games. If you're a San Francisco club, we're going to have a jump ball here.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. That ball was knocked away, and Simpson had it by himself, and then gave it up. Then he calls the jump. I don't understand that call.
But back to the point of WCAL travel, if you're a San Francisco club going to San Jose 2 nights in a row or vice versa, it's not an easy thing to do. But the Wildcats playing the second game of a 2-game homestand. And their Tuesday game wasn't much of a schlep. It was a brief jaunt over to Reardon. And they won that game 64-54. They lead this one 20-14, 2:22 to play. James Chung and the Wildcats slowing down. Antonini hasn't done much in the blocks tonight. Don Lippy's looking for a mismatch right here. And that mismatch always worse as Thomas downs it. He has 8.
Thomas is shooting the ball real well. He might have been fouled on that play as well. Not called, though.
Simpson to the hole, gets the roll, and JD with his first bucket of the quarter.
Yeah, they'll need Simpson to get involved offensively tonight.
So now 1:48 to go. Chung with Tharp tying him up. And now Hunt with a clear path to the basket. He's the first player to 10 tonight. Wildcats up by 8, 24-16. Tharp has it stripped by Chung. Chung doing a nice job there with his hands.
Yeah, Tharp abused that possession.
Hunt to the hole from LeBas. Gets the foul, goes to the line for 2. It's called on J.D. Simpson as J.D. gets his second. 16 fouls now on Steve Filios' troops. Steve, we might want to mention, has been named the CCS honor coach for boys basketball this year.
Deservedly so. Outstanding job in his short tenure as head coach of the Lancers.
Hunt now perfect 3 for 3 from the line. Yeager back for the Lancers, and J.D. Simpson will go to the plastic for a rest. And Hunt with 10. Say Hunt with 12. Thomas with 8. They lead the Wildcats. Raher also has 4. Tharp got away with a walk right there. He moved his pivot foot.
Well, they're really pressing Tharp, and he's having trouble tonight.
Charles alone to the hole in front of Hunt.
Circus shot by Tharp there. Almost got the foul. Go along with it.
Charles has 5. Wildcats up 8. Their biggest lead was 10. Antonini falls short. Sinkyu the rebound. Now ahead to Yeager. Lancers might look last shot here.
No, they need to go now.
They go with Tharp on the deflected pass from Carey. Now Tharp giving up 7 inches to Antonini, giving up the ball to Hunt. And the Wildcats have it with 36 seconds to play.
Carey's got to get back. Now they're going to hold it up. Now the Wildcats will go last shot.
So Wildcats with an 8-point lead, looking to push it into double digits as they head into the clubhouse.
Last time the Lancers doubled out top and it was effective. Let's see what they do here. They're going to try to slow it down.
Clock down to 13. Raher against Yeager, now down to 10. Hunt on the baseline, has it knocked out of bounds with 7.3 seconds left in the half.
Lancers have to be careful here on this inbound. Let's see if they man it. They got beat last time going man-to-man.
They bring Jason Laban on in a shooting situation for Alvin Lynn in the Wildcat lineup.
I think they'll zone this one.
Raher in the corner, tied up, pushed out over the line, gives it up to Brush. Now Yeager, he had the last shot in the first period, puts it up, and no good.
Oh, that would have counted. That was oh so close. Lancers needed that. They're down by 8 going to the half, George. They got to pick it up in the second frame, and this one's going to be over.
So the Wildcats lead by 8, 26-18. The teams take a break and we take a break. You're watching the WCAL on KMVT. Welcome back to St. Ignatius College Preparatory, where the Wildcats lead St. Francis 26-18. Alongside of my partner John Reed, this is George Devine. And John, first half we saw the Lancers weren't able to get inside like they like to. They weren't able to utilize the A zone to their advantage.
Well, of course, a big factor is Q Carey did not score. He was 0 for 4 from the perimeter, had a couple shots inside. He jammed his finger. We saw them working on it right there, and now they're still trying to work on it, trying to tape it up so he can still dribble with that left hand. And I think that, the Wildcats, if they're looking at that, they can make him go to his left, overplay him a little bit, and he'll have trouble dribbling with that left hand.
Sinque, as Bill Delaney made the observation earlier this year on KMVT, is ambidextrous. He's comfortable dribbling with both hands. He's actually a little more comfortable with the right than the left. A lot of fans might remember last year, Mike Hassani Azad played basically the whole season with the two outer digits of his left hand taped together. It made for a difficult shooting experience. So not good when you got those two fingers taped together.
Well, the Lancers, you're going to have somebody else step up offensively. Someone's going to have to take charge, and right now nobody's doing it. Maybe J.D. Simpson, maybe Corey Blick. Meanwhile, they're going to have to find a way to stop Josh Hunt, who had an 8-point second quarter on the way to a game-high 12 points right now.
Sinque Carey standing next to Bill Black. Bill, an accountant here in San Francisco. A veteran high school and college referee, joined by his partner Stan Spicer. And we're back in progress here at St. Ignatius.
Wildcats with their matchup 2-3 zone again. That's gave the Lancers trouble.
Raher gets a piece of that, so Tharp will not be called for the backcourt. Simpson looking for something to open up. Again, the matchup zone. That's been the trick this year. Deny the Lancers the inside, and your chances to win are pretty good. That's what San Ramon Valley did earlier this year on KMVT. Raher to the hole, no good. Hunt's putback is no good. Now Thomas with the third effort finds the charm.
Lancers are not doing a good job blocking out Thomas and Hunt. They're really going to have to start concentrating on those two players. I think they can win the game.
Thomas with 10, 7:15 to go, third period. Tharp from the corner, draws the back of the iron, and Hunt clears the board and sets the Wildcat break ahead to Raher. And the reverse layup falls for Labaugh. He has 4. 6'3" junior out of St. Brendan's.
This is what Steve Filius did not want. He got that lead extended to 12 very quickly. Lance's again having a real tough time against his 2-3.
Biggest lead of the night for the Wildcats. Brush over to Blick. Corey with a nice pass to Tharp. Now Sinque in the lane. Sinque can't get his own rebound, and his shooting woes continue. 0 of 4. Raher at the other end. Rebound is Simpson.
Well, they got to get the foul. Simpson might have traveled, but he's being held. Finally, a break for the Lancers. They sure didn't get one in the first half at all.
St. Ignatius foul is called on Thomas, his first. And the first team foul in the half, as we see James Chung returning right there.
Lancers need a hoop in the worst way right now. They did not go to the free throw line in the first half either, George.
Lancers a good free throw shooting team, so if you take that element away, you're going to hurt them. But more importantly, you take away the inside game, and you're really going to paralyze the brown and gold club. Now Yeager, Antonini doing a good job on Brush. Tharp looking for Carey. Carey with 4 defenders around him, goes to the hole, and his first points of the night are scored 16 minutes, make it 18 minutes and 9 seconds into this ball game. Hunt at the other end. He has 14.
James Chung penetrated through that defense, and you can't let that happen. Good assist for Chung there.
James Chung playing his grammar school ball for Kevin Murphy. One of the better youth coaches here in the city. And the first 3 of the night, or second 3 of the night, first of the half for Blick, he has 6. 32-23 the score.
And Hunt got a little hot dog us there with a behind the back pass. Not necessary there. A little too fancy.
Now Lynn comes back on for LaBasse. So the Wildcats going small with Lynn and Chung in the backcourt. And Carey in front of Antonini, back of the rim. It's Buddy Thomas pulling down the rebound. And ahead to Lynn, who finds Hunt in the lane. And Hunt just on fire. He's got 16. And Steve Filios asked for his 3rd timeout.
Going to have to get back on defense. Filios taking a time here. You're going to have to chide his troops. You cannot allow transition buckets. Their Lancers look really sluggish tonight.
The same kind of situation we saw on Tuesday against Bellarmine. The Bells forced Steve Filios to call 3 timeouts in the first 3 quarters. Steve's a coach, John, who does not like to use his timeouts unless he has to.
And Josh Hunt, a very impressive offensive player. He can smell the hoop. He's tough around the basket. Get him in close, he can use his body, and he can get off the ground. He's tough inside, is Josh Hunt. Wildcats, we also forgot to mention, only have 3 seniors on their roster. They start 2 of them, so next year they can be real tough.
Well, I'll tell you, this year the Wildcats have been real tough, John. They played a very tough preseason schedule. They came in 9-3. They won their own Sand Dune Classic here in this building. But if you look at their 3 losses, that's what's got to impress me. Jesuit of Sacramento, defending section champion. Bishop O'Dowd, a perennial power out of the East Bay. And Balboa, a school a few miles from here, that's the 4-time defending San Francisco section champion. So Don Lippy, schedule's tough, prepares his team for the battles of the WCAL. Right now, they've collected every rebound so far in the second half.
Yes, they have. And Lancers, I mean, guys like, well, Jed Brush is resting. Lancers going real small right now.
So O'Neal comes on the floor. Brush goes to the bench. Simpson also out there. Blick and Tharp in the backcourt. So Sin-Q Carey will be playing the pivot right here as Filios looks to go mobile. 4:40 to go, 3rd period. Wildcats up by 11.
Corey's going to have to take that ball to his side. He's being pressured out top. You got to take it to his side. Can't initiate a pass way out top like that.
So Carey over to Blick. Crowd starting to get noisy. JD from the corner can't down it. JD only had 4 points in the first half. He had 18 the other night against Mitty. I should say last night against Mitty.
Yeah. Well, Lance's with some pressure. He's going small now. Full court, straight man-to-man press, looks like. He's got to do something.
Dan O'Neal picks up his first personal foul.
Looks like a 1-3-1 zone press. They get the turnover.
Tharp to the hole. Carey looks like he picked that one off the rim. He goaltended his own player, it looked like.
Well, you can't ask for more than that. He missed a layup.
Hunt, I should say Thomas buries it. He has 12. 13 is the biggest lead of the night. Wildcats have the Lancers looking in their taillights. Simpson to the hole. In traffic.
Oh, nice effort by Simpson. Changed hands in midair. Went to the left hand. This might work for the Lancers. You might get some buckets out of this.
So Tharp tries to disrupt Chung, but Lynn is open at the other end. His first 2 of the night. 7 on Tuesday and 6 last night. So he's been contributing off the bench of late.
Lancers Filius is gambling right there, but he's got to do something.
O'Neal to Tharp.
That's a foul on Lynn right there.
Simpson. O'Neal loses the battle for the rebound. And it'll stay with the Lancers.
That was off the foot of Lynn.
Jed Brush returns for the Lancers. And he'll replace Sinkyu Carey. Sinkyu looking tired as he comes to the bench. I should say Carey staying in and O'Neal coming out.
Lancers are going to have to score every time they have the ball now. They can't come up empty down on their offensive end.
Sinkyu looking for help. Finds Blick, who steps inside of the circle. And the Lancers shooting woes continue.
They're going to try to pressure all over the court, the Lancers are right now. They're going to try to trap. Here's a trap now.
38-25, 2:54 remaining in the third.
1-3-1 trap now, as much as they can. Libby's going to spread it out. Good move right here. Make the Lancers work.
Using a little Bob Drucker strategy right here. Antonini gets the roll. And James Chong goes to the deck in considerable pain.
Yeah, I didn't see that. What happened? He just was up in the air and came down?
You see him getting up right there, but whatever happened to him is causing him a lot of pain.
Well, he might have came down and twisted that ankle really badly. Either that or he got submarine, one or the other. 15-point spread right now, and it could get ugly if the Lancers allow guys like Antonini to shoot a 12-footer.
Yeager back for Blick. What I think might have happened, John, I think he might have stepped on somebody else's foot. That's one of the worst things you can step on. And now Lynn is called for reaching in on Brush.
Brush has got to get tough and get more involved. Jed Brush with 6 in the first quarter and has not scored since. He's going to have to get bigger inside and try to give the Lancers a little edge in there somehow.
So Fife, Hunt, and Raher join, or Fife, Hunt, and Labaugh join Raher and Thomas on the floor for the Wildcats. 3/5 of a new unit out there for Don Lippy's troops. They pace it by 15. Simpson looking to cut in, can't. Carey the rebound, puts it up, can't get the roll. And now he's called for going over the back.
Well, Brush, that's a good job. He went up for it. That's the kind of foul you don't mind. Carey might have been fouled on the shot. No call. Again, no break for the Lancers. And Carey didn't finish it. So Lancers trying to gamble now.
You see Steve Filios right there. He's seen better nights with the Lancers.
Second personal foul, number 50, Jed Brush.
So Jed Brush picking up 2 quick fouls here. The Lancers now with 3.
Yeah, they're going to be in team foul situation. They're going to have to foul a little bit. They're going to have to gamble. They're going to have to go after the basketball. So they will commit fouls.
Raher will reset the Wildcat offense. And now another foul call, this time a push in the backcourt, is on Brush, and Jed picks up 3 quick ones.
Well, he's got to learn to use his legs a little bit more. This is not his game, pressuring out top. This is not Jed Brush's game. Instead, he reaches. He's got to use his legs and let the legs do the work.
So Raher over to the quick legs of Thomas, to the quick legs of Hunt.
That's a good call right there. It's the best call they've made all night. Offensive player control on, looks like Josh Hunt, 32.
Hunt caught clearing through the screen. We're going to look at him walking backwards.
Lancers really need a hoop here. 150 left in this third frame.
Crowd very quiet, even though it's a partisan bunch for St. Ignatius. Tharp looking for someone to open up inside. The Wildcats have denied Brush the open shots inside all night. Tharp from long range. And Brush with a very risky grab, can't grab the rebound. Instead, it's Thomas. Now Brush again in a risky situation, comes up with the ball ahead to Tharp. Tharp goes to the hole and scores. So Charles now with 7. Lancers down 40-27 with 1:03 to play.
Lancers are going to be extended now. These kids are going to be tired playing that kind of defense. They have to gamble, though. They have to come out of it right now. It's a good move by Steve Filius. Carey getting a rest.
So what Steve Filios is going to do, he's going to sit Sin-Q Carey down for the final 103. Also Charles Tharp, as he puts Yeager and Weinbeek back on the floor. Thomas misses that. Antonini with the second effort, and he's fouled by Weinbeek.
I don't see that at all. That was a clean block by Weinbeek. He's had 2 blocks and been called by a foul.
They're going to call it on Blick instead of Weinbeek.
Okay, yeah, because Weinbeek got all ball. That's understandable.
Antonini will try it twice. He was the starting tight end for Joe Vollard on the Wildcat football team. And now Mark Coletti and Lynn come back for Hunt and Thomas.
Coach Libby giving his 2 top players a rest with 58 left in his 3rd quarter.
And now Fife comes to the table, and Antonini will come back to the bench. So Don will do the same thing that Steve Filios is doing. That's give some key people an extra minute's rest. 57 seconds to go. 3rd period, the Lancers looking to climb back in this thing, trail by 14. Yeager over to Weinbeek. Lancers need to score on this possession. I think it's critical. Inside to Brush. Brush in traffic, draws the foul. And the first 2 Lancer free throws of the night upcoming.
Coach Lippy again extending pressure with Carey and Tharp on the bench, the better ball handlers for the Lancers, so he extended it out top.
So Fife picks up the foul, his second. I don't know if Chris is any relation to Barney. And Brush goes to the line for 2 free throws.
First free throws of the night for the Lancers with this 3rd quarter nearly over.
We've played 23 minutes and 22 seconds of basketball. These are the first Lancer free throws as Antonini comes back on for the Wildcats.
Tough on the road in the WCAL, George.
Every road game is a landmine in this league, John.
That's right.
Anyone who's ever coached, played, spectated, covered this league, they know that very well. 28 seconds to play in the half. Raher gets help on the high screen from Antonini. And now Lynn dribbles against dual pressure. Clock down to 19. Raher top of the key as the clock works its way inside of 15, now down to 12. The Wildcat student body will help with the count, but they're going to lose their prime seats as it's Lancer ball.
9.6 on the clock. They can get a good shot here now. 13 points, take a 3-point, cut it to 10.
Clock down to 7. Blick over to Simpson. Lancers had the final shot all 3 periods. They miss it all 3 times they have it, as Simpson's tray falls short. So 41-28, the score after 3 periods. And John, the first couple of minutes of the upcoming period are going to be critical to the Lancers.
Yeah, they definitely can't have it extended any farther. Lancers are going to have to come out smoking. He's shot a lot of his bullets already now with his decisions he has to do. And now here comes Carey, of course, and Tharp will check in for this final frame. But again, they're going to have to gamble defensively. They're down by 13. And on the offensive end, the Lancers cannot come up empty. They're going to have to score some points.
You're looking at the Wildcat huddle right there with Don Lippy. A lot of people thought Don had never spent more than 3 years at a school. All right, I should say more than 4 years at a school. He spent 3 at St. Joseph's, 4 at St. Patrick's, and 4 at Skyline. A lot of fans felt after last year he'd be moving on to someplace else, but Don likes it out here. He's had some good teams. Remember his first 2 years up here, the Wildcats were WCAL champions. 1 year on a John Dugan-led club, and now John, the leading scorer for Phil Matthews over at USF.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Don Lippy. He has his kids very well prepared. He's got a nice club, has them together. They are executing defensively especially very well and playing smart basketball.
So the Wildcats have the ball to start the 4th period. They have a 13-point lead. Sin-Q Carey is going to try to cut into that lead. Sin-Q with only his 4th point of the night.
Lance is going to try to double down there
Hunt against the Lancer pressure. Long pass. Rush got a piece of it, and he goes out of bounds with it. Don Lippy asks for immediate timeout.
Whoa. Tell you, Senkyu can get involved. They can create some offense with their defense, and that's what happened. Carey with a jam left finger, little finger, I think, or second of the left end finger, and I think it's hurting him a little bit, but they're going to need him to be tough right here.
Remember, when you injure a finger in high school basketball as opposed to football, you don't have to tape the fingers together. They had taped Senkyu's 2 fingers together. Right now they're not taped. So he must have injured both fingers if they taped them together, John.
Well, they've got to play tough now, play with some pain here. 11-point spread, a lot of time left in this ball game. Lippy, of course, is going to be prepared for any kind of pressure that the Lancers are going to put up there. And hopefully his Wildcats will not turn the ball over.
I'm sure Steve Filios right now talking about any potential changes he thinks his counterpart is making in the opposite huddle, because Don Lippy saw a couple things he didn't like. He'll make the changes. Both of these coaches are very adept at switching on the fly, working a play in without using a timeout. And I'm sure Don sees the potential for an 11-point lead to sift away, wants to make the change.
Pat Yeager, a sophomore for the Lancers, called on now in crunch time.
So Raho against the pressure of Tharp and Carey. And now Senkyu, guilty of the slap. 6th team foul on the Lancers, and the 2nd personal on Senkyu.
Lancers now might want to put maybe Antonini on the line if they got a chance. He might be the worst free throw shooter, I'm not sure, but you don't want to put Hunt and Thomas on the line.
The Wildcats, if they shoot well, are a very good team. If they don't shoot well, don't show them the keys to the building. You can show the keys to Alejandro Thomas. He has 15.
Nothing you can do about that. If they shoot a 3 against defensive pressure, that's what you want.
So Carey into the lane. Finds Yeager in the corner. Yeager, back of the rim. Carey can't hold on to the rebound. Antonini ends up with it. Right now the Wildcats look to burn some clock and hold on to the lead. 44-33 with 6:50 to go in the game.
Carey's going to be one tired player. He's out there chasing now. That's very tiring out there.
Hunt to the hole. Rush gets the rebound. Now Tharp over to Carey. Senkyu can't get the roll.
Carey's going inside. Close to a foul again, but no call.
Senkyu right now 2 of 10 from the floor. Clock shows 6:18.
Lance is going to have to go man-to-man. They're just going to pull him out of this right now.
Sure, the only shot the Wildcats will take right now is an open layup.
That'd be smart to do that. Lancers might have to just go ahead and start fouling right now. I'd foul Antonini. I'd just go foul Antonini. Hopefully he misses it.
Remember, Antonini had a late start coming into the season. Don Lippy likes to get his troops in early. And Thomas drains his 2nd straight 3 from the corner. Antonini was part of that CCS Division III semifinalist football club.
Well, Thomas makes threes. You're not going to win anyway, so nothing you can do about that. But you want him to shoot it.
Biggest lead of the night, 47-30. Yeager tries to cut in. That's been the story all night for the Lancers.
I think Filius knows this is a lost cause right now. 5:21 left. Simpson's going to come in. Maybe he can shoot from the perimeter. So Lancers have to start thinking maybe about a 3-point shots on a regular basis. Try to cut this lead, but it looks real dark for the Lancers right now.
Corey Blick picks up his 3rd. Now Matt McGuire comes onto the floor. His first visit tonight. The Wildcats go into the bonus with 5:21 left in regulation. Both of these clubs have byes next week. St. Ignatius getting theirs on Wednesday before hosting Serra here on Friday. The Lancers return home, host Reardon on Wednesday, and then get Friday off before starting the 2nd half at home against Sacred Heart.
Lancers get a break. They miss a free throw. Lancers are going to have to shoot fairly quickly. They can't waste too much time.
Rush in traffic. And Jett will go to the free throw line. It's called on Dan O'Neill, correction on Josh Hunt, his third personal for the Wildcats. Fife returns for Antonini and Lynn back along with James Chong. So Chong seems to be okay after his spill earlier. Rush hits the first, now 2 of 3 from the line tonight.
He's the only Lancer to go to the line tonight.
And he hits 3 of 4 of the team total.
Matt McGuire out there, number 24.
So Chung over to Thomas. Thomas doesn't shoot the lights out this time. He gives it back to Chong at the point. 4:49 to go. Rush is going to be guilty of going over the back of Josh Hunt. That's number 4 on Jed.
I think it's going to go against Hunt.
So 21-14 is your rebounding edge in this game, John.
That's Hunt. There's a correction on the personal fouls for Hunt. He's got 3. I'm looking down at the bench, George. Lancers down by 15. They got to get a 3 here to cut it to 12. 4:40 left and counting in this game.
So 16 fouls for the Wildcats, 7 for the Lancers. I mentioned a second ago, the Wildcats out rebounding the Lancers, 21-7. 4:23 to play, long pass, and almost a backcourt. Nice job by Thomas of recovering. Now Marcoletti over to Lynn in the corner, Simpson against him. The Wildcats over to Lynn, now Fife, and Fife with the putback.
That was an accidental pass.
17-point game inside of 4 minutes to play, 3:55 exactly. Blick and Thomas with the rebound in front of McGuire.
Lancers are going to have to foul or just start the bus, one or the other, perhaps both at this point. They're going to have to foul somebody or just write it off. Don't bother with it. There it goes.
So the foul is going to be called on Blick, and Corey with his 4th.
I mentioned very quickly right at the beginning of the game, the Lancers are going to have to shoot well to win. They did not shoot well from the perimeter tonight, George. That's been the difference.
The trick to beating these Lancers this year has been to clog up the middle. You do that, you'll probably come away with a win. That was first in evidence this year against San Ramon Valley. A lot of our KMVT viewers remember that game when John Rayner's troops really bottled up the middle and caused a lot of problems for the Lancers.
Yeah, Carey is normally a pretty good outside shooter, and I don't think that's his game, but Blick hit a couple, and Simpson really didn't get on track, and they need those kind of guys to come through.
So Antonini ends up with the Lancer turnover. 3:25 to play, 18-point game, biggest spread of the night. And the Lancers get the ball back at center court.
Lancers still hustling, give them credit. They're not going to obviously fold their tent, but they're going to have to get the steal or the foul if they're going to keep on playing. They got to come quickly now, Charles. Can't take too much time. You got to go for it.
Now O'Neill is going to win the battle for this one as Simpson comes up with it. JD to the hole. Can't get the roll. The Lancers haven't had many tonight.
No, they've been a big lid on the Lancer basket all night long, both ends.
Now the Wildcat crowd coming to life behind the basket.
32 points for the Lancers, not a very good offensive effort, George. You know that. That's not going to get it done in this league.
Well, 32 points will win a lot of games in this league if you play great defense if the other team doesn't score.
That's true, but I'm very impressed. My first look at SI, I didn't even see him last year, but I'll tell you that Thomas is a real player, Alejandro Thomas. I don't know if he's Division I, but he's definitely Division II right now. And maybe Josh Hunt also can play this game. Those two guys are legitimate blue chippers, at least in the Division II level.
So Ron Rolfe comes into the game for St. Ignatius, a crowd favorite, as Cassidy Raher tries to convert the front end. He missed the front end earlier. He makes it, he's got 5. But I remember a time when in this league, 50 points was considered a lot of points in a game.
Yeah, that's true. I know. I remember that. We covered games here a few years ago, but it's the way it happened tonight. The Lancers definitely had to shoot better, and they didn't do it.
So Rolfe puts it up, but there is a foul. That's called on J.D. Simpson, his third. 10 team fouls on the Lancers.
The Lancers play the Wildcats a couple weeks down the road here, George.
They play them 3 weeks from tonight, Saturday, February 3rd, in Raskov Memorial.
See it, you know, there's the thing that they can come home and shoot a lot better at home in their own gym, and that happens sometimes. You just go on the road and you don't shoot very well.
But before that happens, we have a line violation on the free throw by Rolfe. Actually, it was a 2-shot foul. But before that happens, a full week of action next week in the WCAL. We'll talk about that in a moment. The Lancers have the ball back. And they look to make this thing respectable. O'Neal, the baseline, is pushed out of bounds. And now we take a look at the WCAL schedule. The long-awaited matchup between Sacred Heart and Bellarmine took place tonight. Also, Reardon visiting Serra. Next week, the Crusaders make their annual visit to Mountain View. Mitty goes up to Keysar to play the Irish. Serra and Bellarmine. And then next Friday, the first half of the docket closes out with SI and Serra. Sacred Heart and Reardon, Bellarmine and Mitty as the Lancers sit that number out.
That's what's real juicy about this league, George. Every game night, there's one great matchup, maybe two great matchups, and it kind of makes it a lot really interesting.
As you break the standings down sometimes, John, 3 great matchups, and sometimes the most coveted spot is the bye.
Yeah.
If you have that Friday bye in the 3-game week,
yeah,
that's worth its weight in gold. Reardon had it this year.
This week.
Rolfe can't put back the miss. Now Harris can't do it either. O'Neal, as the clock winds down to 2 minutes, bounces off of referee Stan Spicer with the Wildcats.
Lancer fans getting all upset. Don't worry about it. It's over. And what's one play with the official going to be worried about?
And all you can do right there is smile.
That's the way it's gone all night long for him. The officiating was not in their favor tonight, but it hardly cost them the game. They just, as I've stated a couple of times, didn't shoot well. And St. Ignatius, with Hunt and Thomas leading the way, shot very well.
We saw Stan Spicer a moment ago as Rob Marcoletti steps to the line. Stan does some college women's games. Veteran official up here in the San Francisco area. Jeremy Teresi on for the Lancers as Steve Filios empties his bench. Darren Svedman is also out, along with Casey Pena. And the Wildcats call time. If it matters, they have 2 left.
Both coaches emptying their bench, deservedly so this time. This one's over. Lancers have gotten spanked 3 times in league this year. Well, once in overtime they lost a close one, but twice they've lost big.
Well, I'll tell you something. There's no cause for alarm. Last year at this point, after the first 3-game league, the Lancers were also 2-3 in WCAL play. Now, they went on to win a state championship. They went on to win 22 games in a row. That's, I mean, I think it's very early to write that obituary.
I'm not writing the obituary. The problem is with this team and last year, they don't have the bangers with Joe Cavanaugh and Robbie Coley that they did, and they're going to have to shoot really well with his team. A guy like Brush, they're going to have to do it on the offensive end. He's tough, but he's not a real banger inside and doesn't clear a lot of space in there. And Weinbeek, again, takes up some space but doesn't really dominate. Guys like Cavanaugh, he dominated the defensive board. Robbie Coley was a factor inside. And they're missing those guys right now. That means you got to shoot very well from the perimeter especially.
The other thing to remember is that I don't think this year the front runners, Bellarmine and Sacred Heart, are going to fold up shop very easily.
No.
Last year, Reardon folded up shop when Rashad Lowry went down. Bellarmine also folded up shop in the playoffs. Sacred Heart was very mercurial, and the preseason favorite Serra was nowhere to be found down the stretch. So
definitely a more competitive league, and the Lancers, you know, are certainly going to be representable and be tough in the playoffs, but there's no doubt about it. But again, they're going to have to do some things a little bit better than they did last year.
And Fife called for the foul. That'll send Svedman to the line.
Now Darren Svedman's a footballer and can bang. He's got the muscle, but he doesn't have the height. He's not as tall. I mean, he probably doesn't have the jumping ability necessarily. Not a very experienced player, but he can muscle with a lot of people.
Darren was quoted in today's San Jose Mercury News on a story I'm sure all of you have heard, and that's St. Francis football coach Ron Calcagno is moving on to a position with the Oakland A's as Director of Community Relations, and all of us at KMVT would like to wish Ron the best of luck. The A's organization getting an outstanding gentleman and a man who put in 24 years as a prep head coach.
No speculation as to who's going to take over. Maybe Mike Mitchell, the defensive coordinator. He has a great relationship and has done a tremendous job defensively over the years for the Lancers. Also maybe across town a little bit. Brother Ray, perhaps, is licking his chops.
So the foul called on Ray, his first, the 8th team foul. Of course, Ray and Ron, both graduates of the school we're sitting in right now, but when they went there, it wasn't here. It was over on Stanion Street, now the USF Corrett Center.
Very impressed with this gym, George. Beautiful place to watch a game. A lot of space, and the Wildcats cheering section's pretty tough over there. Nice gym here.
When they built this building, John, they went around to facilities all over Northern California and wrote down ideas. They looked at the new gym at Bellarmine. They looked at college gyms, high school gyms, and they really tried to combine the best features of all of them in this building. And now some fists fly with Teresi and Rolfe.
There's really no excuse for anything to get out of hand. I mean, these kids are hungry and want to play and want to mix it up. We got 102 left. Forget about it. It's only a game. There's no sense. The crowd's kind of egging it on, too, and that kind of adds to it.
But this facility also includes a pool. It also includes a theater. It also includes a new weight room. And for $15 million, I think the folks here got a pretty good deal.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's got space for the concessions outside, and outstanding place. Now, this is the last year for the WCAL tournament.
Well, unless they vote differently, the principals and the basketball coaches voted to abolish the 17 tournament. What the coaches really want is a 4-team Shaughnessy playoff. When the principals see how much money is going to get lost because they're not playing the 17 tournament, well, they'll find a way to have some sort of playoffs as McGuire earns a space in the box score. 52-34, inside of 30 seconds to play, down to 25. And Marcoletti can't get the roll. And now Harris gets some noise out of the crowd. Clock down to 15. And the Lancers will want to forget about this evening as they'll drop to 2-3 in the league. 13-5 overall. They came into league play at 11-2. SI will improve to 3-2, 12-5. And now Fife scores. Clock is down to 5.4. Svedman ahead to Teresi. He puts up. It doesn't go, so 56-34, the final score. SI upping their record after 5 games to 3-2. And John, your final thoughts?
Well, Lancers, 7 points in the second quarter, 6 points in the fourth quarter. I am with. That's not going to get the job done. Again, overstated. They got to handle the ball a lot better too. I didn't mention that. Carey and Tharp did not handle the ball well tonight. Seemed really troubled by that defensive pressure, the mixing up of the defenses by the Wildcats. Again, and of course, Lancers are going to really have to just a lot of shooting practice next week. They're going to have to start shooting the ball better.
Speaking of getting the job done, a lot of people had a hand in getting the job done tonight. We'd like to start with our producer, Lazarus Sargenitas, his talented crew. For everyone here at St. Ignatius, Bob Vergara, Leo LaRocca in the athletic department, and of course Joe Schramm and Steve DeMaestri in the St. Francis athletic department helping us out. For all of us here on the KMVT crew, good night from San Francisco. For my partner John Reed, this is George Devine speaking. Thank you for joining us.